What's going on, guys? So today I want to address something that I get asked all the time. And today I want to talk about passing the boards, passing your exams, how to actually get to that next step, how to pass this hurdle that we all hate, right? Because none of us really love taking exams, except for the weird ones out there. I was a little weird, but I'm sure there's some of you out there that really get off on taking exams. But for the most part, nobody likes it because everyone knows the truth. And the truth is that exams don't necessarily correlate to the way you're going to practice when you're out in the real world. And that's true because when you take an exam, it's different, right? You have all the information available, you have everything you need to know right on that piece of paper or on the laptop, depending on how you're taking this exam. In real life, you don't have all that information. In real life, you only have the information that you ask for. And that's the difference. But this means that exams are incredibly easy, right? This means that exams are the easy part because you don't have to figure out which questions to ask. They're already asked for you. They're presented in the vignette. 28-year-old male, Caucasian descent, history of smoking, cough, dyspnea, hemoptysis, right? Pulmonary nodule. I mean, it's given to you right there. So this means exams are very, very easy so long as we know how to take an exam. And it's not the clinical knowledge that really stumps students. Lots of people think that it's the clinical knowledge. Well, you've been in school for years. You should know the information. You've gone through rotations. You should know the information. So if everybody's getting the same education, if everybody's learning these same topics, why is it that some people fail and why is it that some people pass? Because it has nothing to do with the clinical knowledge. More than likely, you know everything. It's applying those concepts to a written exam. It's having others ask the questions for you and then putting it on a piece of paper. See, when you're in the clinic, when you're in the room with the patient, you have to decipher, you have to create the differential. And as you're doing this process, this thinking process, you're figuring out which way to go. When it's on a piece of paper for you, you don't have the luxury of figuring out which way to go because they're telling you which way to go. They want to guide you down a certain path. They want you to say that you should get the chest x-ray, not the echo. They want you to get the CBC, not the BMP, right? So it's a little bit different. But like I said, this makes things very, very simple because if we learn the rules to the game, then we can pass the exams. And the exams, wherever you're taking this, whether it's in class, whether it's end of rotation, whether it's the boards, they are not here to trick you, right? That's the biggest misconception. People think that they read the vignette and the answer is too easy. This means that it's a trick question. More than likely, if it's easy, that's the right answer. More than likely, you've been studying, so don't think that there's a trick question, right? So that's the number one thing is learn how to take the exam. You have to start thinking like an exam test maker. And once you kind of shift that mentality, it makes things very, very simple. It turns things into a game and it'll make your life so much easier. And once you get out into the real world, again, you're gonna have to shift the mindset because you've been used to getting everything spoon-fed to you on a piece of paper on the laptop. Now you have to actually go fishing for the questions. You have to ask the questions to get the right answers because lots of times patients are not going to simply divulge the information to you. Patients are going to think nothing of the fact that they've had a cough for 3 months. They're going to think nothing of the fact that they get chest pain when they walk 3 flights of stairs. To them, it's not significant because they've had this going on for a long time. And that's the difference, right? Learning how to ask questions, learning which questions to ask. So again, it's not the clinical knowledge. You know the knowledge, you know the medicine, you know which tests to order, you know how to interpret these test results, you know which medications to give, you know contraindications, you know first line, you know second line, but it's applying the concepts to a pre-written format that wants to guide you down a specific path. So it's simply changing the mindset. That's the number one mistake that I see people make is not knowing how to take a test. So once you figure out the game, it'll make things so much easier. But then once you pass the game, you have to change that mentality and you have to start figuring out a different game altogether. But that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of medicine. Now, I'm not saying that the process is perfect. It's far from perfect. And I personally think that many things can be changed within the educational system, whether that's in medicine or in education altogether. I mean, think about how far we've come, right? We're watching videos on YouTube right now. We're learning off Instagram. We're having online courses. The way the education model is shifting completely, and medicine is one of these models that is very, very difficult to change. It's so deeply rooted into tradition, into history, and it's very difficult to change that. But if you look around, the way we're learning is so much different. It's so much better. So I say all that just to say that I'm very excited to see where the future takes the education system, specifically with medicine. I feel like there's a lot of advances that can take place. I feel like a lot of these tests that are being done are going to be out the window. If you're a physician assistant, it looks like they're getting rid of the PANRE by 2020, or at least they're changing the way the certification process is. So there's a lot of changes because we realize that a lot of what was done back in the day doesn't necessarily apply to the way things should be done now. The way things were 100 years ago is not the same. The amount of medicine, the amount of things that have evolved over the last 100 years is different. So why should the education system stay the same? So these are just things that fascinate me. These are things that interest me. I'm always looking for ways to improve. I'm always looking for ways to kind of tweak things to better educate, to better learn myself. I'm very excited to see the direction that things are taking. So anyway, I hope that you guys got some value out of this. Remember, exams are easy. Clinical practice is not that easy, or at least as easy. So you're in school now. You're going through didactic. You're taking the exams. This is the easy part. Don't trick yourself into thinking that you don't know enough. Don't trick yourself into thinking that you shouldn't be doing what you're doing. You're capable, you're good enough, and I'll talk to you on the next video. Take care, guys. Bye.